Hello. Well, that was a wonderful indicator. I actually hear the opening couple hot seats, just listened to the meditation CD part way through it, and I closed my eyes and just kind of relaxed and just released any expectation. And so how's that for an endorsement? I'm wondering about, again, so many things. The first thing that I've got on my list is...
Can you hear?
Is yesterday you made the moment where you paused, and you've done this now a couple times, and you looked up at us and said, "Did you get that?" And we're doing this deconstruction of thought, and you addressed, we're not deconstructing emotion, and I'm wondering if we're moving to kind of, through emotion, high vibration, inside the vortex, fine-tuning of kind of a telepathy way of creating.
Telepathy is rampant because law of attraction puts you, the vibrational wavelength that you have active puts you in communication with others on that vibrational wavelength. So it isn't that you are becoming more telepathic. It is that as you clarify your vibration, we want to say purify your vibration, the signal is just stronger. It's like listening to a CB radio, and if you're not tweaked in, you can get all kinds of static, where when you tune it, you can just hear it more clearly. So by getting the clutter out of your vibration, then you can hear the call of your source. But there are a lot of people that are hearing the call of their discontent as well. In other words, the point that we want to make here, and this is something that we talked about years ago, and then we sort of left it in that unfinished place for a while, and now you are understanding about the vortex. It's time to readdress it and really bring it to a place of understanding, and that is, you get what you think about whether you want it or not. So you are always in the process of constructing a reality. The vortex of well-being is, of course, the dominant reality that you are constructing. But there's plenty of constructing of realities that you do not want, you see. And so the reason that we are encouraging you to think less is because as you deliberately release thoughts, especially on subjects that you've been worrying about, those subjects that are issues, like relationships, or like money, or like physical conditions, as you soften your thought around those subjects and allow your frequency to raise, what will begin to come into focus is a stronger, clearer picture of what you've already put into the vortex. And then, if you know what you know, if you've been listening to us for a while and you know about the vortex, if we have convinced you of your worthiness, if you have heard our conversations about focus, if you've learned how to make lists of positive aspects, if you are good at rampages of appreciation, if you are good at talking about what you want and why you want it, then what happens is, as you hover in that vibration of non-resistance and you begin focusing toward what you're wanting with more and more precision, more and more detail, now you become the deliberate creator in the way that you intended to be, in the most satisfying of ways, you see. It really is no fun to create by default. And it is so much fun to live life and launch rockets and line up with those rockets, you see. And so, as we've been interacting with so many of you, we have noticed that while you like the idea of being deliberate creator, most of you, most people you know, do not really like the idea of deliberately focusing beyond the reality that already exists. So the more we talk about deliberate creating, the more excellent observers you become, the more articulate you become about what you're observing. The forums are full of conversations that are holding you in places that you don't want to be. So the crevasse between who you've become and who you're letting yourself be is becoming stronger and stronger, which means then you launch greater rockets of desire, asking for more clarification.
So
the further clarification that we are giving you here is Stop the conversation about anything you don't want. Don't discuss what you don't want. Don't keep going to the doctor and looking for the x-ray of the problem. Discontinue your conversations with others about things you don't want. Stop making those lists of what you don't want and seeking validation with others. In other words, if you will deconstruct what you're mostly focused upon. Now, we've said to you for a long time, if you've been listening to us, you've been hearing us say, the reason we teach meditation is because, frankly, it's easier to teach you to have no thought than to have pure positive thought. So in meditation, as you're listening, that's such a wonderful creation. Because as you listen to that music, that weird music, it's not a beat you've ever heard. It is inconsistent with any music that you've ever known. It asks you to take 3 long deep breaths in, or 1 long deep breath in at 3 counts, and then 5 breaths out. In other words, it's just weird. The music isn't like any music that you've ever heard. And if you're going to sync up with it, and then we throw in occasional breathe in, breathe out, just so you'll know if you're on it and you're off of it. And a lot of the time you're off of it because you have not been paying attention to where you are within it. So then you have to pay more attention. More attention to what? Your problem? No. What you want that you don't have? No. Becoming a better creator? No. You have only one thing to pay attention to: syncing your breath to the rhythm of the music. And in doing so, it will cause you to deconstruct enough thought that in the background you will hear us speaking to you in your ear everything that you want to know about everything that is important to you. A reconstructing of who you are, a reconstructing of the vibrational frequency of that which is at the core of you. And then as you begin moving about through your days, what you begin to notice is this meditation CD that you have been listening to a little bit every day is taking the edge off. In other words, you are not vibrationally attached. Someone can start an argument and you don't notice it. Somebody can pick at a scab that usually you would jump all over, that you let go. Someone would push a button that used to be one of your hot buttons and it's not even there anymore. People around you are wondering, who are you and what have you done with my husband? Who are you and what have you done with my wife? Who are you? What have you done with my children? As you find yourself in this place of knowing your well-being, your what is shifting right before your eyes, as the crevasse between who you have been allowing yourself to be and who you've created in your vortex becomes more of the vortex of who you really are.
Excellent.
People say, as they send letters to Jerry and Esther, should I breathe through my mouth? Should I breathe through my nose? Should I lay down when I meditate? Should I sit up when I meditate? Should I stand on one foot when I meditate? Should I meditate alone? Should I meditate together? And we say, none of that makes any difference. Irrelevant. Just focus on your breathing and get in sync with the rhythm of the music. That's all you've got to do. Let the music guide you. Let the music guide you. Let the music guide you. Let the music guide you into the deconstruction of resistance, because your vortex is full of what you have constructed bit by bit, piece by piece, and we want to tell you, friends, even a bit, lifetime by lifetime. Who you are is in this vortex calling you home. And when you stop keeping active the stuff that's been keeping you from going, you'll go to the furthest most reaches of that which you've become, and you'll feel the zest that you were born to feel. And then what will happen? You'll explore more contrast and you'll do it all again, because it's what we all eternally do. It's our joyous quest of never-ending life experience. And why do we do it? Why do we remind you what you know? Because you're asking. Why do we remind you what you've forgotten? Because you're asking. Why do we remind you? Because we said we would. Why do we remind you? Because your vortex is full of the question. And we stand here, we hear you asking, and so we offer never-ending stream of ideas and processes to call you into alignment with who you are. And after a while, you build up a resistance even to the clarity and the purity of the process that we give you. You take those processes, 22 in one book, 4 or 5 in another. You take those processes and you gather together and you make work of the processes. So now we say, time to deconstruct the processes. Time to back away from the specifics of all of this. Time to stop making all of this hard and accept these things. You are source energy in a physical body. The basis of your life is well-being. You could not be more worthy than you are. You could not be more loved or appreciated than you are. But most of you don't know it because you're so busy studying and scrutinizing and discussing irrelevant things as you are measuring manifestations rather than vibrational acuity. So when you stop measuring vibrational manifestations, as you stop measuring assets and you stop measuring degrees and you stop measuring marks on the chart and you stop comparing the way you create in relationship with each other, and instead you get your attention only on the comparison between who you're being as a vibrational creator creature right now and who you really are as a vibrational creator creature right now, as you let that be what's relevant and you let everything else be maybe not irrelevant but less relevant, now you come into sync with who you are, and then you begin living your life the way you have intended to do it. You see? Yes. So the answer to the question, do you breathe through your nose or your mouth, is yes. The answer to your question, do you lay down or sit up, is yes. The answer to your question is you do whatever works best for you in the moment. It might be a little bit different every day. But your dominant, Jerry and Esther, as they began listening to it, long before you all were, they could not wait to get it into your hands. They discovered that when they listened to the general well-being, have you heard it? When they listened to the general well-being, they floated into ease and wonderful feelings right away. And when they listened to the one on financial well-being, same thing. They floated right into a place of well-being. When they listened to physical well-being, same thing. They floated right into a place of well-being. And when they would come out of each of those meditations, they were full of zest and eagerness. What now? Bright eyes, eagerness, waiting for something new. What's next to come into our experience that we can notice is the result of our vibrational point of attraction? But when they listened to relationships, that's when they found their mind wandering. And it bothered them a little bit. Mind wandering, mind wandering. They asked what that is about. We said it is about the releasing of resistance. When you find your mind wandering, it means you've got some resistance. And so as they listened, the mind wandered and listened, and mind wandered and listened, and mind wandered. But soon their mind wandered all of that resistance away as they were listening to the rhythm of the music, you see.
Yeah.
Every day is a new day for each of you, because you are interacting with all of the others with whom you are interacting on all kinds of levels of vibrational interaction. You have levels of vibrational activation within you depending upon different subjects, depending on different situations. You can walk into a room and smell a fragrance that you haven't smelled for a while, and it can activate a vibration within you that starts a whole point of attraction. In other words, you're not so complex, but the vibrational world in which you live offers a lot of combinations of vibration. So as you begin to understand that this process of moving into a, are we taking too long?
Never. Yeah, well, how much?
This is the most important answer that we've ever given to anyone ever.
Time's irrelevant.
Time is irrelevant. Did you get it? Next. What is the time?